The Thames Path, 185 miles from the source to the Woolwich Foot Tunnel in 15 days in August and September 2022. Part 2. Newbridge to Pangbourne, 63.5 miles. Resuming my riparian adventures on the Thames Path, I spent 4 days walking from Newbridge to Pangbourne. The river was my constant companion. On the few occasions when the trail diverted away from the water, I actually started to feel anxious because I missed the comforting presence of the river as it flowed unabated on its relentless journey eastwards. Day 4, Newbridge to Oxford, 18.3 miles. Hops and haws along the trail in the early morning as I leave Newbridge, heading ever eastwards. Hops are a cooling sedative and bitter, and thus a great remedy for digestive problems linked to nervous tension. They are also a powerful antispasmodic and are supposed to be great for treating hangovers. This is an interesting example of a herb which can be used for treating the adverse effects caused by drinking too much of something for which it is used for making, in other words, beer. Haws are the berries of the hawthorn tree. The whole plant, including the berries, is considered to be a specific remedy for most cardiovascular diseases by either stimulating or depressing the heart's activity, depending on the need. It is the #1 herb used for treating cardiac disorders, but should only be administered internally by an expert herbalist because it can also cause tachycardia. The lochs were coming thick and fast along this stage. This is Northmoor Loch. Yellow loosestrife, which has analgesic, expectorant, astringent and anti-inflammatory properties. Swinford Bridge and Loch. Swinford Bridge is one of the 2 toll bridges on the Thames Path. The other one is the bridge between Whitchurch and Pangbourne. Oh no, those otters are having another dig at me. This narrowboat is called the Lazy Otter. Witham Great Wood in the background, the final resting place of at least one victim in the Inspector Morse novels. Idyllic scene on the river just past King's Weir on the approach to Oxford. Godstow Abbey, the ruins of a 12th century nunnery where I met James, a kindred spirit and conspiracy theorist who lives on a narrowboat and spends his days exploring the British countryside on his bicycle. We spent hours chatting together and soaking up the atmosphere of this rather splendid ruin. There was a very special sort of atmosphere there. It felt rather like being in a bubble in another dimension, where the colours and sounds take on a different hue. Because after I had finished chatting to James, I walked round the corner to see this. Toblerholm was moored up close to Godstow Abbey, and I also spent ages chatting to its owner, a young guy who lives on it permanently and has an eco-friendly lifestyle. 2 stimulating conversations in the space of 1 hour. When I met James on the towpath again the next day, another one of those coincidences, he told me that he had had a similar experience and that after chatting to me, he walked round the corner, heading in the opposite direction, and had another stimulating conversation with another interesting lady. Godstow Loch and the start of Port Meadow just outside Oxford. Port Meadow has apparently never been touched by the plough or pesticides and has been continuously grazed for over 4,000 years. View eastwards from the Osney Bridge in Oxford. Being a Cambridge girl, I was very excited to visit the other place, and although I had walked over 18 miles, I still had plenty of energy to take myself on a whistle-stop tour of the sights and soak up the atmosphere. Here are a few of the photos I took. Laird Hatters, Oxford. And my B&B for the night at Jesus College, Oxford. One of the 3 quadrangles at Jesus College, Oxford. In Cambridge, these are called courts. The dining hall at Jesus College, where I had my breakfast. Christ Church College and St Aldate's Tavern. The Town Hall and Museum of Oxford. Lincoln College, Oxford. Day 5, Oxford to Abingdon, 15 miles. Leaving Oxford. More interesting sights on the trail as I leave Oxford. Iffley Lock. Railway bridge and fishy fence just past Iffley Lock. Somewhere near Sandford-on-Thames, where I had another chance encounter with James, the mad cyclist who I had met the previous day. Somehow we both intuitively knew that we would spend another magical day together. We walked and cycled together the rest of the way to Abingdon, where we had a coffee and continued our chat. Upstream from Sandford is the notorious Sandford Lasher, a weir whose vicious currents have claimed the lives of many people, including the 21-year-old foster son of J.M. Barrie, who had based his novel Peter Pan on his son. The Cozener's house in Abingdon, my B&B for the night. The Abbey Gardens, Abingdon. Domestic Abbey buildings in Abingdon. The Thames seen from the gardens of the Cozener's house. Abingdon is claimed to be the oldest continuously inhabited settlement in England. Abingdon Bridge seen from the gardens of the Cozener's house. Day 6, Abingdon to Wallingford, 16.4 miles. Angel's Trumpets at Clifton Lock. Angel's trumpets are highly toxic ornamental plants and are a member of the nightshade family. Benson Lock and Weir. Typical example of a Thameside property near Wallingford. The banks were now starting to become lined with amazing affluent properties with sweeping lawns and ostentatious boathouses. Day 7, Wallingford to Pangbourne, 13.8 miles. Boathouse near Cholsey, just to the south of Wallingford. Just outside Dorchester, I came across another solo female walker who was sitting on the bank nursing some serious blisters. She told me that she was intending to walk the entire Thames path in just 6 days. Judging by the state of her feet, I very much doubt if she lasted the course. Between Wallingford and Streatley, the Thames path runs parallel to the Ridgeway, but on the opposite bank of the river. I walked along this stretch in the opposite direction, in other words, heading north rather than south in 2012. The two trails actually run together across the bridge between Streatley and Goring-on-Thames, so this was another one of those déjà vu moments. The Beetle and Wedge of literary and TV fame at Molesford, where I had a very nice coffee to spur me along the trail. House for sale at Molesford. Approaching the Goring Gap. Streatley Church, which I also visited when I was walking the Ridgeway in 2012. Crossing the Thames on both the Thames Path and the Ridgeway between Streatley and Goring. Elderberries at the Hartley Steps. Elderberries are said to be effective in relieving the symptoms of colds and flu or other upper respiratory infections. The Hartley Steps, the only hill on the Thames Path, and what a hill that was! After days of flat walking, it was a big shock to the system. St Mary's Church at Whitchurch-on-Thames, my late lunch spot. The toll house on the bridge between Whitchurch-on-Thames and Pangbourne. Pedestrians are allowed to cross free of charge. I returned home for another short break before continuing the following week. See Part 4 for lessons learnt.